Okay, welcome to a little video about the most recent global offensive update. I've had a lot of people saying to me, you know, why aren't Cadre making more global offensive videos? And look, ultimately it's because I think right now we've got this kind of saturation of content where everyone's just basically going on a server, they're recording these like little snippets of gameplay that ultimately don't mean a great deal. And they're not really shedding any insight on it, and I think you could probably go on YouTube and, you know, find 1,000 of those videos. I don't want to contribute towards that because I just think, you know, what's the point? Like, you know, I'm just a editor of a website. I'm not a competitive player. No one's really going to listen to anything I've got to fucking say. So it seemed a little bit pointless. But equally, there seems to be sort of a demand there, so we're going to do it. And this recent update, the big thing that's changed, recoil of the guns. I mean, the update came out, and then bish bash bosh, there was another update in the morning for 30 megabyte. I'm pretty sure they were tweaking the recoil with that, and we noticed it when we were playing our kind of mixes and in-house gathers. And we just want to kind of put that on video for those people of you who haven't yet got the game, people who may be following the development of it. I'm not sure if this is the recoil they're going to stay with by the time they do go to open beta, but you can have a look at it for yourself and see. So first thing I'll do is I'm on CT at the moment. Just going to buy the main rifle I would say everyone's going to use, which is the M4. And we'll just go out here and you'll just see for yourself, this isn't, you know, no recoil control, this is just shooting. And you'll notice there's this kind of arrowhead stroke T shape that they've brought in. Now, the recoil is a lot less severe. You will notice that compared to previous versions, what would happen is the rifle would kick, so by the time you would finish shooting, if you weren't controlling it, you would be up here somewhere. But it's definitely a lot more smooth. You can pretty much just, you know, it'll do this shape every time as well. I mean, that's something else that I think's been misinformation. I've seen a lot of 1.6 players talking about how the recoil's random. Well, if by random you mean it's pretty much the same every time, then yeah, it's really fucking random, as in it's not random at all. It's pretty much one pattern, and this is repeated across all of the guns. Again, I'll just demonstrate that, but just one more. Then you'll kind of see it's like a reverse, you know, question mark maybe, or like an arrowhead. But basically, once you've recoiled, the cluster of the bullets will be in this sort of area. I'll just go back and restart the round, and we'll look at sort of burst fire and tapping. Right, so you've seen what it's like. That is going, as they say in the trade, just full retard. That's just literally holding the button down. I'm not doing anything to control it. And you can see, compared to previous iterations of Global Offensive, it's a much tighter kind of spiral in the guns. But if you do some tapping, I mean, you can see how even with sort of no gaps between the taps, I mean, look at the cluster. You know, where I've kind of held it down a little bit, you've had a slight kick. But this applies for long distances as well. And again, look, I mean, you can see here, for that sort of range, that's still reasonably tight. And I'm not exactly doing slow, you know, tap shooting. You know, if you do like little double taps like that, you can still pretty much get away with it. So the recoil on the rifles is definitely a lot less forgiving. Sorry, a lot more forgiving, I should say, rather. A lot less harsh than it has been in previous versions of the game. So if I start again, the other rifle, obviously, you're probably going to want to have a look at is the FAMAS. I've got to say as well, I've been impressed with the update to the FAMAS. I like the way it handles now. Burst fire definitely seems to be more accurate than what it was. And again, we'll just get in the position, and you can see for yourself that it kicks up towards the end. But again, I mean, that's like at this range, all you got to do is really aim for a head. And, you know, before, for example, you would have maybe the odd bullet up here or here or here or here. That would really break that kind of tight spiral. On burst fire, though, a lot more tight. And you can see it just glides upwards, just like that. Now, at long distances, burst fire, you can see, obviously, that pattern does mean that the first 2 bullets are going to be good, but your third is probably going to skip past them, and you can kind of try and pull down as you're doing it to control it, but again, makes it a little bit of a lottery. I'll just get closer on those so you can have a look for yourself. And there, I mean, you can see, well, I've done a little smiley face there, and that's pretty cool, little waving hand as well. I didn't mean to do that, I promise. I am a grown man, I probably shouldn't even have noticed that's what it was. But anyway, when you do full automatic and you kind of spray with a FAMAS, again, it's more forgiving than it has been. I mean, before it was pretty buck wild. You know, now you'll notice, see, we got this kind of question mark shape coming into it, and it'll do that with the FAMAS. That is the pattern. It'll, you know, go out to the right and curve around to the left, and I've only got 1 bullet left, so I can't demonstrate again, but take my word for it, there's not these random recoil patterns you've heard so much about. So I'm now going to quickly skip over to Terrorist, because the big cause of consternation, I think, has been the AK. A lot of people complaining that the recoil hasn't been quite right, so I'm just going to show you what that can do now. Okay, so here we are over on the Terrorist side. I'm just going to quickly get myself the AK-47, the gun everyone is talking about in terms of, you know, the way it handles in the game. And we'll just get a similar range to where we were with the CT, so just so you can see this. Now, I'm just going to spray with it, and you can see for yourself how it's been improved. With the AK, you generally tend to get more of a T shape. Again, the pattern will be, it'll sort of cut left, cut right, and then collect at the top. So again, we'll just do that. There it is, there's that T shape again, and there it is again. So you can see, all this talk about random recoil patterns, it is nonsense, don't believe it. And again, that is way, way tighter than it had been in previous versions, and certainly you'll notice that maybe 4 or 5 bullets are down here now in your first kind of spray area before it starts kicking up, whereas before, the second bullet would be the one that pinged up here, and you know, you would finish up in the clouds somewhere. Long distance, we'll just again, not controlling the recoil, and you can see that pattern again, and obviously over distance it's going to be a lot less accurate, but again, the pattern is there, so that's very important. So we'll restart it, we'll have a quick look at the tap shooting. And a lot of people have been saying this is, you know, really put the game on easy mode, because now, I mean, again, you can see this is just tap, 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 tap. You know, not really taking my time over it, not really pausing, not really waiting for the crosshair to reset itself. And look how tight that is for the AK. I mean, before, it was absolutely insane. And if you kind of, you know, get a little bit lax and just, you know, do that, again, that's still a pretty tight cluster of bullets. 1 bullet, it resets itself nice and quick now. And if you do kind of get a little bit carried away in a burst, you can see it kicks up, but nowhere near what it was doing before. I'll show you the Galil, because the way the metagame's developing, these kind of secondary rifles look like they might play more of a part. The Galil is definitely an effective weapon based on what we've been doing in our games. I mean, there's a lot of guns that you probably wouldn't expect to be using, and that you can and actually work, and for $2,000, you know, it's worth it. But again, there we are. You'll notice a familiarity within these recoil patterns. And again, this one, a bit more like a mushroom cloud, but again, it's similar to that T-shape you'll see. I will say that the Galil does have a little bit more kick to it than perhaps you're used to. Bullets seem to do a little bit more damage as well. And again, over distance, you'll see that pattern replicated. You can see how the Galil certainly is going to be a much harder gun to control recoil-wise. But the tap shooting, it's just nice. Again, you know, not really doing anything there. And if you want to take your time over stuff, you'll notice that you can. You can just go 1, 1, 1, 1. And there you go. And it's just, you know, nice and easy, nice and tight. So for me, they have overall improved the recoil. on all of the guns, certainly on the main rifles, the M4 and AK-47. If anything now, I would say controlling the recoil is a little bit too easy. What that's going to do in terms of community feedback, I don't know, but certainly in terms of what it's brought to the game, in fixing it, making it feel nicer, it's definitely a lot better. So that just gives you a little bit of a look at it. I hope that's kind of been informative and not just the same bullshit. But if it is the same bullshit, it's still important to know these things. The game is advancing day to day, and I personally have been really impressed with the progress that Valve and Hidden Path Entertainment have been making. Anyway, stay tuned to Garrett.org. We're going to have more videos from CSGO. I promise we'll keep you up to date with all the big changes from now on.